All right. Good evening, everybody. It is now 6 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, we are so excited for y'all to be here for the first session of the summer. We just wanted to thank everybody who's here for giving us an hour of your evening. I already know that we don't get enough time at the end of our work days anyways, so thank you for spending it here with us tonight. As a reminder, these are Zoom webinars, so you will not be able to turn on your camera or your microphone. Instead, you can utilize the Q&A button at the bottom or the chat features to ask any questions or say anything that you need, or if there's questions that you might have for our panelists, feel free to throw that in there. Today, we're going to be having presenters from the OneStop, parking services, our on-campus dining provider, Sodexo, and Residence Life and Housing. Each of these offices will have a quick 10-minute overview presentation to go over, some key dates to remember about their office for this coming school year and the coming semester. During or after each presenter, you'll be able to submit any questions that you might have for them to answer. They'll be able to see it in the Q&A box, but if we need any other additional help, I'm happy to help in and answer where I can. They'll either answer them live on the camera or they can type them in a response to you and it'll pop up on your screen as well. They'll either answer them during their presentation or at the end during our Q&A session. But to kick us off, we will go ahead and get started with the OneStop. And as they get their presentation loaded up and on the screen, I just want to remind everyone that this webinar is going to be recorded and posted onto our website within the coming week or so. So anybody can feel free to go back and review it any time after tonight. So I will pass it over to Andrew.
Hey, thank you. Good evening. Ashton, remind me real quick, how much time did you want me to present for? 15 or 30?
10 to 15.
10 to 15. Okay. All right. Instead of putting up my presentation, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to do this like we would do for a lot of our in-person meetings. And I want to introduce you all to who I am and what we do. And we're going to start with sharing the screen to kick that off. Screen share. It's always different. Here we go. All right. My name is Andrew Martin. I'm the Director of Enrollment Services, and that just translates to in charge of a bunch of things that are forward-facing and are going to be the things the students work with. We work with prospective all the way to alumni and everything in between. Our biggest name brand programs, the ones that get the most attention, are going to be the OneStop, as Ashton brought up. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what OneStop is and why this is important for you as parents, as well as you having a resource at your fingertips that you can help us keep in front of the students. Follow along with me at home if you're on the computer or on your phone and type uttyler.edu/enroll. Okay, it's going to be uttyler.edu/enroll. It's short for enrollment services, but really what this translates to is the OneStop's homepage. And almost everything that I want to show you is going to jump from here, okay? Similar to how I would show this to students, it's very important for you guys as parents to know that this is here, because at the end of the day, our website can be very complex. It can be a lot of information, and it can be challenging to locate it. But as long as you have this saved on your computer or saved in on your phone, then you're going to have the majority of everything that you need at your fingertips. And we want you guys to have these resources as much as we want the students, because we know that the students are going to be in contact with you. You'll be able to help us stay on top of them. And it's going to take the team to make sure that everybody succeeds. These next couple of years of life that they are in college are going to be some of the most eventful years of a student's life. Studies show that between the years of 18 to 22, a whole host of big life events happen. And so we want to make sure that they have the biggest support network possible. Here on the university's OneStop page, you're going to see that we have these hot panels, okay? I'm going to jump to some of the things that are going to be the most relevant to you as the parents, and then we're going to skip around from there. The number one thing I want you guys to know is the student pin right here. This is a FERPA pin. The FERPA pin is what makes it so that we can talk to students, because once they are enrolled in courses and those courses start, the student is now beholden to FERPA laws, privacy protections, all that jazz. Okay. Right now, as you talk to us, you can call on the student's behalf while they're getting their admission done, while they're going through the steps and the rigmarole to get their financial aid in place for the first time, and talk to us pretty easy. The problem is that once they become officially enrolled in those courses and classes start, FERPA comes over like a big old force field, and suddenly we can't talk to you guys about their accounts in any way, shape, or form, even if you're the ones paying the bills, unless you know the FERPA PIN. Okay. But it's not good enough to just know the FERPA PIN. So what we're going to do is talk to you through this, and you can have them set this up so that you have access to being able to navigate those conversations on their behalf with us. Help us help you guys. We absolutely want to be communicating with you just as we're doing this panel. I don't have any problems at all if this parents want to call on behalf of the students and talk to us about their account. It's just in order for us to be able to broach those conversations, they have to be the keys to the kingdom and have to be there. Okay. And it's very much like an ATM password. We need to know the student ID number and we need to know the PIN. Okay. What that looks like, I'm going to show you a PDF tutorial and you can help us. You can even text this to your student right now and say, do this. It's like 5 steps. We have orange arrows and pictures. So it's very accessible and easy to process. Essentially, they're going to log into their student account and then they're going to go into their My Profile and set up the FERPA PIN right here. When they punch that in, it can be anything. It could even be I hate FERPA. As far as we know, that's okay. They're just going to be able to sit right there. And if they can give us that number or PIN, then password statement, we're good to go. If you guys can give us that, that's great. But we need the student to put your name right here. So you can add rows right here and put a mom there, dad there, grandma there, any trusted loved one or third party that the student wants to be able to talk on their behalf, that can go there. And then they can say what those authorization is allowed to be. They can say, I want to talk about grades, I want to talk about awards and financial aid, or just grades, for example. So just check these boxes and set that up, and then we'll be good to go. Okay. And again, if you can send this to your student right now, send it to them via text message. That's great. Those steps are very simple. And then you'll be able to call. Our phone is going to, our students who answer the phones are going to say, hey, what's your name? Okay, what's the student ID number we're interested in discussing about? What's the PIN? And as long as you have those things, we can talk freely. All right. Okay. And now we're going to head over to the next big thing that I want to make sure that you know is this tutorial library right here. Okay. The tutorial library is going to be our biggest asset that we currently offer to friends, family, and students themselves, because a lot of people, especially first generation students, are being told that they need to go to college, that they need to enroll, they need to take care of business. The problem is that unlike most universities, or I should say, the problem is that at most universities, those resources on how to do that are very obscure or complex, and nobody really teaches you how to do that the first time unless you go seek out that information. At UT Tyler, we want to make sure that that information is at your fingertips. Most students are going to try and get these things solved after work, when mom and dad are available, or just as time permits, and that could be even late into the night, right? And the university is not open at 11 o'clock at night. However, all of the resources that we want for how to be a student, we've started compiling here. The fun fact that I like to tell everybody is that most everybody in my office, in my department, we have not just one degree from UT Tyler, maybe not even 2, but 3 or 4 degrees from UT Tyler. We came to UT Tyler as students, and for me, that was, gosh, that was almost 18 years ago. But I've been working at the university for 14 years, and we took that experience of what we encountered as a student and said, hey, what can we do to make our student experiences for others better? How can we use our experience to make everybody else's life easier? And so the end result of that is a tutorial library. Every single one of these things, how to set up the FERPA PIN, how to find a student ID, how to view holds, to-do list items, how to enroll in classes, how to pay your bill, all that good stuff, how to accept and decline loans. Those things are here with not just PDFs with orange arrows and pictures, but also links with videos on how to do it. Every video is going to be between a minute to 5 minutes long, so very easy digestible. And just about anything that you might have a question about how to get done can be found here. Okay. Now, if you've saved our one-stop webpage on your computer or on your phone or app, you at this point, you'll be able to have those things within just 2 clicks, right? So you come here and then you click on tutorial library, you're done. Next, I want to highlight for you guys some basic resources. Obviously, the campus map is going to be important. That'll help the student navigate campus, but also we have underneath the registrar here, we'll have the academic calendar, and I will actually show you the academic calendar next because I don't want to deviate from this page for a second. And between the campus map and the calendar, you're going to know the important dates and where to go. Okay, so those are very important things to have at your fingertips. But before we leave this page, what I want to highlight for you specifically is going to be this important news section. Okay, right now it pertains to summer because summer semester is actively in process, but also it pertains to fall down here. And it's going to always be the really, really, really big things that are happening right now on this campus. So for most of you who are getting ready to have your students start with us in just over a month, you're going to be looking at getting done with your financial aid processes right now, loans, grants, scholarships. So you'll see that refunds only begin after classes start, right? And it's very important to set up a refund preference. If there's any funding that goes over the bill, we have to determine, do you want that funding in the form of a check? Do you want it delivered to an account? Does it go to the student? Does it go to the parents? Those kinds of things, okay? And that's how you set up the refund preference. Most everybody who's going to get loans and grants, you guys have to have the master promissory note and entrance loan counseling things done. Okay. Every single form of financial aid that takes that is a loan has to have these two things done. So let's make sure the students go through and do this. Parents, you have to do one as well if you're going to do some other complicated types of loans, but for certain, we're going to have the master promissory note and entrance loan counseling for students, and it's just right there, easy access for you. And of course, like I said, the FERPA pin and tutorial library. All right. Parents also note that right down here on the helpful links, the coming UT Tyler means coming to a whole host of support networks for our students, whether it's a SARS office where it's going to be accessibility, such as ADHD or any other kind of accessibility need that might, like, for example, I need more time on a test, those kinds of things. They can be navigated here. If students need someone to talk to about very heavy stuff or anything that's maybe anxiety or time management, that can be done at the counseling center. And of course, we have tutoring, all kinds of stuff. All right. Police department, IT support, all of the really helpful links are here. Again, what I wanted to do with the OneStop's webpage is kind of make a very consolidated approach to getting anything on the website that you need. Up here at the magnifying glass, our search bar is powered by Google. So if you need something like, say, FERPA, and you click on that, it's going to, within this, the very first two things are going to be what you need for the most part. And again, get you the FERPA pin, just exactly like that. But if you don't even know what you're supposed to be looking for and you can come up with just one word and type it in there, chances are it'll come up. That being said, this is going to be the best asset that you have at your disposal. It is the OneStop itself. If you are unsure, confused, don't even know where to start, anything like that, frustrated, give the OneStop a call. I have a whole host of people here that are cross-trained across every single division on campus, every single department on campus, and most everybody here has been here for a minimum of 7 years. So what we're talking about is experience with people, experienced people who are there to help you. So if you don't know where to start or where to begin, honestly, it's just email us or give us a call. Now, that being said, I do always want to tout email as the better way to get a hold of us at the university because our turnaround time, majority of the year, is going to be same day, even half day turnaround time. If it has anything to do with the student's registration, always email enroll. It's short for enrollment services, not enroll. So even if you have questions about financial aid, send it to enroll. As we get closer and closer to the first day of classes, that's going to get more and more busy, right? The phones, especially, it doesn't matter if it's someone trying to sell me an air conditioner or if it's going to be students who need to talk to us for this upcoming semester, or maybe even students who are coming to us next year. They're all calling the same line. So those phone queues are going to get longer and longer. However, the emails, they always move quick. So take care of business early and email us, and you'll be able to get us hold of us right away. Okay. So next thing I want to show you guys is going to be this Pay Now tile. This Pay Now tile is, I just tried to make it as simple and digestible as possible. Okay. There is so many approaches. There are so many approaches to knocking out college payments, right? And a lot of people don't know all of the options that are out there. So what I did is I wanted to just lay it out. All right. Whether it be cash pay, financial aid, veterans benefits, installment plan, payment deferment, outside scholarships, 529 college saving plans, credit cards, things like that. What I wanted to make sure is that all of that information is laid out so you could go down the options and see what works better for you. Okay. Now, the one thing I want to highlight here is that financial aid, that takes the form of loans, grants, a whole bunch of other things. But really, what it boils down to is these 4 steps. Okay. Financial aid can be very complicated, and that's understandable. It takes a lot of time. There's participation in both federal and state governments in order to get federal aid placed on a student's account. But largely it can be boiled down to these 4 steps. So you can print this page, you can follow along. As long as you can check 1, check 2, check 3, check 4, you're probably in good shape. Okay. Now, that being said, notice that I have here August 1st is the deadline for financial aid. What that means is that August 1st is going to be the deadline to make sure that your financial aid is 100% in place before the semester starts. So that's the no sweat, no worries deadline. Okay. Obviously, you can get financial aid processed and put on a person's account all the way up to November, really. It's pretty much that open. The thing is that we have to, by state law, do certain drops if students don't have their bills paid, things like that. So if you want to make sure your classes or the students' classes don't get dropped from their schedule, then we want to make sure that one of these other systems are in place if you are getting your financial aid stuff done after August 1st. Okay. The biggest one I want to point out here is going to be the installment plan and payment deferment. At UT Tyler, we call it an emergency loan because ideally we are loaning that money to the student to take care of their account until the end of the semester. TJC and other universities, they call it bridge loans. I don't like the word loan at all specifically. It's just payment deferment. It says, hey, instead of paying my bill right now at the beginning of the semester, I have stuff that I have to worry about. I know I need time. I know I need to get my financial in place. I know I need to make small payments. I need time. I need time. I need to breathe. I don't want to even worry about this. So I set up the installment plan or the payment deferment. And now my classes are secured and everything is safe. And I will finish paying during the semester or pay by the end of the semester in the case of the payment deferment. Instead of paying at front, you pay at the end, payment deferment. Okay. So again, a lot of options here. Now you have them at your fingertips. I don't need you guys to memorize everything that I'm saying today. Now you have this, you know, you can come and read it at your own convenience. If you feel like you really want to fall asleep, academic information, that'll help you cure some insomnia. I'm telling you, but it's here for you guys if you need it. Most students don't need this stuff. And so I don't think you parents will need it, but maybe once in a semester or once in a whole college career. But since we're already over here, let's go ahead and click on the registrars page so I can show you the academic calendar. Okay. The academic calendar is important because it's going to tell you everything that is important in the semester. But I need everybody who's here on this call to know that different calendars pertain to different student groups. Nursing has a different calendar. Pharmacy has a different calendar. Medicine has a different calendar, so on and so forth. Most general students are going to be on the 2026 calendar. And if you click here, you'll be able to search by the term and you can see 15-week sessions, fall session, and now you know when's the first day for faculty to come in. When is the payment deadline? When do classes start? What's the first date that we drop for non-payment if those bills aren't paid and payment deferments or emergency loans aren't activated? Okay, so all very important stuff. And now you know where it's at. Let's see here. I think right there, I'm gonna say that those are the big hot topic things that I can give you in just 10 minutes. And I'll give you guys a chance to ask me any questions at the end if you need to. Thank you. My name is Andrew Martin, I'm Director of Enrollment Services, and that's the OneStop's orientation.
Thank you, Andrew. As you said, if there's any questions regarding any of the things that he just covered, feel free to drop them in the Q&A button at the bottom. We'll either cover those at the end or you might see it be answered momentarily on your screen. Next up, I'm going to pass it over to Officer Standiford to talk about some parking things on campus.
Hello, my name is Brad Standiford. I'm the Assistant Chief of Police here at the University of Texas at Tyler. We want to cover just some parking issues or concerns, make sure we clear anything up, and then also just kind of go over a little bit what the police department has to do. And excuse me, I'm trying to find the good old share button on Zoom. I normally don't do Zoom. There we go. All right, so we are a fully fledged police department. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whether the university's open or closed, there is a police department there. We staff it with fully licensed police officers. This is a good page. If you have your phone out, you can take a picture or screenshot this. It has all of our contact information, our physical address, phone number, uh, email and website. The email is a non-emergency phone number, but if you need dispatch, if you need a welfare concern for your student or something's gone wrong on campus, you need to get a hold of us. That 903-566-7300 number is answered 24/7. Again, the police officers, they're licensed through the state of Texas. They have full arrest authority. We do our own criminal investigations, traffic enforcement, handle all emergency incidents in and around the campus. We also have security guards that help with jump starts, vehicle unlocks, parking enforcement, which we'll touch on here in a little bit, and then also our Safe Walk program. As I mentioned, we do have licensed telecommunicators as well that handle all of our emergency phone calls. They're usually that first voice the student or the parent hears and help coordinate getting the proper resources to y'all. Campus safety in general, we really don't have that much crime on our website. You can either Google UT Tyler Cleary or daily crime log. You can also look up our annual security report, and in there it goes over some of the crimes that are occurring on campus. You know, just like anywhere else in the world, there are things that happen on our property, but I will say that the major things that do happen are very limited. So usually what happens are what we call crimes of opportunity, meaning somebody's left a purse in their vehicle and it's in the window and the door's unlocked, or someone's left their apartment door unsecured and you know, things just happen to walk off. But in general, we're off the beaten path. We have really very limited crime, and most students probably don't have an interaction with the police department while they're here. We do use an emergency notification system through Rave. So it's called Patriot Alert, and it sends out text emails. We also have an indoor amplified speaker system. So these are going to be used for any emergencies on campus. I believe you all can sign up for it as well as a guest on there. Don't quote me on that right this second. But your student is automatically enrolled in those. And so anytime there's like a gas leak, a tornado warning, God forbid, an active threat or something like that, the students will receive emergency notifications. An application that we do utilize is Rave Guardian, and this is something that we highly encourage all students to download, and most importantly, that they set up their parents, siblings, whatever, as guardians in the app. So what that means is that if they use this app to call the university police, if they use it to call 911, or use that safety timer or send a tip, it's also going to send a notification to that guardian. A lot of the students don't want to set that up, but I think there is a great benefit to it. That safety timer is simply just if we were walking from a building to a parking lot late at night and we didn't want to use the Safe Walk program, we could set that safety timer to 5 minutes. If it goes off, if they don't say, I arrived at my location or stop, then it's going to send a emergency notification to dispatch. And if they've allowed GPS accessibility, we'll ping their GPS location, let us know who it is, and provide a phone number to allow us to send officers. And then the send a tip function, I really call it the text dispatch function. You're able to send text messages to dispatch. So if you go home some night with some person that you weren't really familiar with and you're becoming uncomfortable, you fear that calling 911 may escalate something, you can always text dispatch, and again, it'll send us that GPS coordinate information. Parents like to know that we do take safety very seriously on campus. So the flock camera system, if y'all have not heard of that, it's a license plate based system. It's not used to enforce parking, but it is a license plate based system that hits on all NCIC, TCIC hits, which means if someone comes on campus with a warrant, if they're a sex offender, a stolen vehicle, if it's tied to a criminal case, or if we've inputted as a criminal trespass, it alerts us prior to them getting to buildings on campus. The second, it sends us a little photograph of the car and the license plate and what it's for. We also have over 50 of these emergency blue light phones on campus. It's a direct line of communication to dispatch. They just press a button and it automatically dials. And if for some reason they can't talk or there's an issue with the communication between the two, the caller ID on the phone in dispatch shows that location of that blue phone. So parking is not quite this bad on campus. Parking permits are required to park on campus, whether you're a resident or whether you're a commuter. Fees for the entire year, $112.50. That's pretty reasonable in comparison to many others. You can either just Google UT Tyler parking and it'll get you to the parking portal to purchase your parking permit. They go on sale August 8th. Now, if you are a student who lives in Patriot Village, Liberty Landing, or University Pines, you do get a resident permit. That means that they cannot park on the physical campus. I call it the four corners. during Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. That's because we have a lot of commuter students that live in Ornelas Hall and Victory Village. Ornelas Hall mainly because they do not have their own designated parking lot, but Victory Village because of the distance, they are given commuter parking permits so that they can drive to campus. There are no hang tags this year or anymore. It's all license plate based. It's a separate system that we use for parking enforcement. So we highly encourage your students do purchase permits because now it's very easy as the PSOs are driving through the parking lots. That license plate is automatically picking up vehicles that do not have their license plate in the system. And so it's kind of there's no more of them having to walk around or miss something. It's automatically telling them. The students can have up to 3 vehicles on their account. And that means that like if they have a rental car, if they borrow their parents' car, et cetera, that they can still be able to park on campus without issue, and they can add those to their account. That parking at uttyler.edu email is, trust me, is going to be the best source of communication with parking. About a week or two from now, parking phones are going to be off the hook, just continually ringing. And we want to make sure that we get back to you in a timely manner. That email is answered by both myself and my employee that handles parking related matters. If you do have an issue though, feel free to call that phone number. Just understand that we do get busy at the beginning of the semester. When it comes down to guest parking, parents coming in and visiting campus, if you go into the parking portal and create your own account, you can select a guest permit. And so there's not a limit on the guest permits. We always tell the students that we will find out eventually that if you're just getting yourself a guest permit every month. But we want to make sure parents can come visit, obviously, be there, part of the different programs on campus. And so there is free parking. It's just you do have to get a permit through the parking portal, or your student can do that for you as well. Parking is limited on campus. You know, we do have a lot of students and we're continually growing. We've added a parking lot recently, over 110 spaces, to ease the pain for everybody when it comes to parking. We ask students that they consider to walk between buildings. You know, there may not be front door parking. I like to call it a parking preference problem, not necessarily a parking problem. You know, you may be parking in P7 to get to one of your buildings that are maybe down there by the circle, but it's still, you know, you're still in a decent walking zone. And then the biggest thing is just remind your students, please don't park in reserved spaces and don't park in handicap. So I always tell people, you know, the 3 things. No one wants their student to get a parking ticket, and we don't really write citations for minor violations. We try to educate. The first 2 weeks of the semester is always a grace period to give students time to get their permits. We do issue warnings during those times, just as a reminder. But just keep in mind, buy the parking permit if you're going to have a vehicle on campus. Don't park in reserved and don't park in handicap, and you will probably be just fine. And that's the contact information again for parking. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you so much. At this time, we're gonna switch over into our dining, Sodexo on-campus dining partner. They unfortunately cannot be here tonight, so I'm going to briefly cover a little bit of their stuff. So first up, let's look at their brief little presentation. So Sodexo is our on-campus dining services. They are the provider of our dining plan or meal plans. They also run the Met and all of our retail locations on campus. So these are some of their team members. So Jamie's the general manager, if you ever see him around, as well as Daniel and Jamie, he's the marketing coordinator. If your student ever sees somebody trying to film them or take pictures of them, that's most likely who it is. And then we've got our executive chef, Marcos, and then Trey, our other general manager. The Met, as I mentioned, they've got a ton of different options. If you joined us during orientation in person, you were able to witness a little bit about the Met and kind of what the food options that they provide. They've got tons of healthy options. They always have a salad bar available. Their action station is usually like a stir fry type thing, maybe like fried rice or other kind of made to order options. They do a nice rotation of international food options as well. They constantly have something different going on or some sort of event happening at the Met, as well as their allergy and food sensitivities. Anything can be curated and made specifically for your student depending on what type of allergies they might have. All they have to do is walk up and ask one of the chefs or the servers behind the counter and just say, hey, I have this allergy. Can I eat this food? They'll either say yes or no. And if they say no, they'll ask or provide some other alternative alternative that's safe and that your student will be able to eat. This is a little bit of what the Met looks like. Hopefully you joined us in person already and you know what the Met looks like, but there's tons of available seating so that students are never having to sit alone by themselves. They constantly have someone to be able to interact with. If your student is interested in working at the Met, they are hired through Sodexo, so they are still considered on campus. They just go through a different process, but they're hiring for nights and weekends and during the day, their retail options, any kind of restaurant type position that you can think of, they probably have available. They have something called the Student Culinary Council, which kind of helps taste the different food options that we have on campus and provide feedback to Sodexo so that they're able to provide things that the students are actually wanting and they're not just kind of guessing what they want. They also provide catering options. So if your student gets involved in a student organization and they want to host an event on campus and they want food but don't know where to go, Sodexo is a great catering option because they're already here, they're easy to work with, and they provide a great service of setup, tear down, cleaning, and their student wouldn't have to worry about anything at all. These are a couple other images of kind of what their catering type style food looks like. It's very great. We had it today. It was amazing as always. They've got a bunch of different retail locations. So on the University Center second floor, we've got Einstein, Subway, Taterlicious, Trace Habaneros, the Swoop and Go, and the Chick-fil-A. All of those are located on the second floor as well as the Met on the first floor. And then in our library, that's where we have all our full service Starbucks. You can use the app, you can use gift cards, you can use dining dollars, credit card, cash, all those different options to pay for it. You can order ahead, order online. It's like a normal Starbucks, just without a drive-through. They have alternative hours compared to the other retail locations just because of it being a different location, but also because they are full service. Unlike our Einsteins and Subways, those are kind of curated to fit the academic needs and university needs, whereas the Starbucks is open until late hours of the night when students might be studying. We do have an online mobile ordering app. It's called Transact. Your student can download this and they're able to order ahead from Einstein's, Chick-fil-A, Trace Habaneros, Taterlicious, Subway, and from Starbucks, or they can use the Starbucks app. For Chick-fil-A, Einstein's, and Subway, you cannot use the apps, the specific brand apps for those when it comes to ordering ahead or using points or anything like that, just Starbucks. But if your student is interested, highly recommend doing this because during the school year, it can get very crazy. And especially Chick-fil-A will have those long lines. Our retail services, if your student is interested in working one of those as a part-time job during the semester, those start at $12 an hour and they can feel free to apply using this QR code as well. And let's talk about what's new. So our Swoop and Go, you probably didn't see it if you were here on campus because it is under construction, but it is the big location next to Subway that have the big tarps around it. They're expanding so that they can be even larger to provide more grab and go options, but it's a typical convenience store. They also provide sushi, like some sandwich options, little snacks, drinks, anything that you can think of if you were to run into like a gas station convenience store. But now it's just going to be bigger and provide more availability for everybody. They've added a sushi location, which is going to be open on the first floor of the Seoul's College of Business. There used to be a Starbucks there, but it obviously moved to the library, so now it's become one of our new sushi locations. So we're really excited for that. Starbucks is hitting our 1-year anniversary on October 9th, so watch out for some crazy fun that they probably have planned. There's going to be a boba machine that's going to be available at Trace Habaneros. They tested that a little bit last semester and it was a huge hit. I know students were always talking about it. The Met is going to have some new sauce options, an upgraded salad bar, and an integration of national food days like National Cookie Day, plus more student favorites like soups and all those great stuff. Themed food days featuring Stop Hunger Days every Monday, food, fun national holidays like Halloween themed meal, and comforting seasonal dishes for Thanksgiving. All of these are created from that culinary student council thing that they've asked for student input, and these are all things that the students wanted to see more of, and so we are very excited that they're bringing all of these in. So that's a little bit about Sodexo. I do want to touch briefly on the meal plans and all of the different things that they provide. So you can find this located on the UT Tyler Student Life / housing and dining rates. This is for this upcoming term. And if your student is interested or they need to purchase a meal plan and they want to pick a different one than what's automatically put onto their account, they can visit the Sodexo website to change that. These are per term. They're not refundable. They don't carry over. Once it expires, and you can get a new one. So we've got a bunch of different plans. We've got the Patriot Premium, the Pride Plan, the Star Plan, the Orange Plan, the Blue Plan, and the Commuter Plan, which is available to students who are not living on campus. The Commuter Plan is only $425 dining dollars, but you can use dining dollars to purchase Met swipes, so it can be used for anything that they might need. All of the other plans, they include different meals during the semester, like the Blue Plan. This is the default plan for any campus apartments. So the Star Plan is the default for Ornelas Hall or O Hall, where most freshmen will be staying. This includes 7 meals a week, so you can swipe your card at the Met 7 times between, I believe, Sunday through Saturday, or it's Monday through Sunday. Once those meals do run out, you could use dining dollars to purchase an additional swipe if they need more. The other plans have 12 meals a week or 17 meals a week, and then different varieties of dining dollars, as well as a bottomless cup. Those cups they can use to fill at any of the stations that are on the second floor. There's one of those like red machines that you can like touch screen to pick whatever drink that you might want. They only work if you have a special cup that has a barcode on the bottom that allows the machine to actually work. So that's what the cup is for. The bottomless cup, like they just said, unlimited fountain drinks and coffee throughout the university center and the cafeteria. You can purchase these at the Swoop and Go as well. If for some reason your student does not get one when they first move in, they can always get another one later on. The student block meal plan are add-ons that can be added into any of the existing meal plans. Like you can add an additional 30 meals or 50 meals or just 10 with some dining dollars as well. And all of this can be found on their website. And if you have questions regarding any of the meal plans, let's just go visit the Sodexo website. So it comes on to here, and then you can talk about the perfect meal plan. If there's any questions or anything, you can email any of these people on this team, and they'll be happy to help you. This also talks about all of the different hours and the different options that are available for each one of the things. So the hours for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then Saturday and Sunday with the little alternative hours. Most things do close early on Fridays, or most of the days we close around 3 o'clock for our retail options. Like I said, Starbucks had the later hours, so they're open on Sundays from 4 to 9, and then Monday through Thursday, they are open until 9 p.m. Chick-fil-A, alternative hours as well, but they are a little bit different as though they stay later. They stay open later for more of the dinner options. So that is as brief as I could be with all of the dining things. I'm happy to help answer any questions if there might be. You can throw them in the Q&A box. We'll do our best to answer those, but if there's any specific questions, I might just send you an email address that you can reach out to, and they will be happy to help you. So now I'm going to pass it off to our last presenter for our housing and residence life. I'm going to pass it over to our team so that they can get started with that.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashton. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I'm sure the host and panelists will tell me if they cannot. I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can kind of look at some information together. Perfect. Alrighty. So we'll talk a little bit about housing and residence life. I will be as brief as I possibly can, but we do cover quite a bit, and we also spend usually the most time with your students. So again, welcome to Housing and Residence Life. My name is McKenna Cato, and I'm the Assistant Director for Residence Life. Perfect. The first thing that we like to share with you is information about our support and what we offer not only to your students, but also to you as family members and maybe some parents. So the Housing and Residence Life team is made up of 18 professional staff and 57 student staff. We really focus on a lot of different areas. So most of you have probably already talked to the central office team. That would be your housing operations, those who do the assignments and things like that. for your students. We also have 4 residence coordinators. Those are the folks that I oversee. They are full-time staff members who live in each community. They oversee the operations, the safety and security of those facilities, and they also supervise our student staff. We also have our own in-house maintenance team. That means that there is support at any time. So even if your student's toilet is leaking at 2 a.m. And they're having issues, our maintenance team can address that at that time as well. So we're here 24/7, 365, just like your students are. So we are available for emergencies as we are needed as well. We also have our resident assistants who are our student staff. They are spread out through each residential community. They live amongst your students, and they're really there to help guide them through. For some of you and most of you, your first year as a freshman, they really just help kind of mentor you, have a connection to campus, and really help you understand the importance of the safety and security of the buildings. We also have the housing office assistants. So they are student staff who work with the housing team specifically. A lot of them are the ones who answer the phone calls when you call. Please be nice to them. They're great, great staff members. We love them. And they work really hard to make sure that they get the answers for you that you need as well. And finally, we do have maintenance resident assistants. So again, student staff who works with the maintenance team. And finally, we do a lot of extensive collaboration with our campus colleagues. So, university police, care team, health services, counseling, wellness, you name it, we know somebody there. We do that because it's really important that we also understand that your student living on campus means they're involved in so many other things as well. So, we really like to just make that a big focus for our teams. So some residence life here at UT Tyler. There's a lot of words on this screen, and all of them are important. But the things that I like to point out the most are the building connections, the wellness initiatives, and the personal growth. So we focus a lot on those, especially. We know this world is hard. Post COVID is hard. Students coming to college for the first time is hard. And we really, really dive deep into that a lot of times. That can look like something as fun as maybe we do a bouncy house or a slip and slide. And it can also look like things like counseling and wellness, or maybe just a space for a student to talk to somebody. So you can see some fun that we've had in the last couple of years. I'm really looking forward to this year. For Residence Life, if the one thing that you share with your student after this or take away for yourself is I gave my team one goal, and that goal was create things that allow people to just have fun. Sometimes we just need a break away from the classes and maybe the clinical work or the internships or life just being hard, maybe some relationships, right? So they just need a space to have some fun sometimes. One thing you can tell your students, we often give away free stuff. So that's always a drawing point for our programs as well. Awesome. I'm going to pass it over to our Assistant Director for Housing, Sam Thornton.
Hi, I am Sam Thornton. I am the Assistant Director of Housing Operations. So essentially, I am the person in charge of some of those behind the scene things, such as housing applications, assignments, billing, etc. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that y'all are aware of is that we do have at UT Tyler a live on requirement or residency policy. So students who have completed fewer than 60 credit hours are required to live in campus housing if facilities are available. However, we do realize that living on campus might not meet every student's needs. And so we do have options where students can apply for a waiver to live off campus if they meet one or more of the approved waiver requirements. So those waiver requirements, the most common one that we see is that they live within 50 miles and are living with a parent or legal guardian. With that one, if you and your student are wanting your student to live at home with you, but you look and you live 54 miles away from campus, go ahead and contact us. we're happy to work with you on that. The other qualifications are students who are enlisted, or military, 21 or older, married, have dependent children, will be enrolled in 8 hours or less, as the requirement for on-campus housing is 9 hours or more, and a medical need that can't be accommodated on campus. If your student needs any housing accommodations, whatsoever, please make sure that they have contacted the Student Accessibility Resources or SAR office and have gone through the accommodation process. If a student is approved for an accommodation, the SAR office will notify us and inform us what that accommodation is. And if it is a situation where it's a medical need that can't be accommodated on campus, they will inform us that the student is approved for a waiver as well. So the next steps for your students is to either, if they haven't already, to apply for housing or apply for the waiver. One of those two options if they haven't already done so. And so again, just next steps is to make sure that your student has applied for housing or completed the housing waiver, and then instruct your student to regularly check their Patriots email for communication on assignments, move-in, etc.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. I'm going to take over for our last couple of minutes here. We do want to go ahead and encourage your students to get involved on campus. Like I mentioned earlier, we partner a lot with other constituents on campus, campus partners, and they really offer just so much for your student outside of the classroom. So we really encourage your student to get involved while they're here on campus. If your student is living on campus, please go ahead and mark your calendars and prepare them for move-in on Thursday, August 21st. This is an event that we call Patriots Welcome, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute, but go ahead and mark your calendars for Thursday, August 21st. A couple of move-in tips and reminders, questions we get a lot from students, from parents, from pretty much everybody. Please make sure that your student talks to their roommates to see what that person will bring, what you will bring. Common items are usually microwaves, cleaning products, pots and pans. If your student, wants to save on cost, then sharing is really a great option. Please remind students to select a check-in appointment time in their housing portal. A question that came up in the Q&A that I want to bring up just briefly. If your student has an approved early arrival date, so they move in a little bit earlier than the normal timeline, communication about those specific dates will be sent out this week, and they'll be able to select a check-in appointment that way as well. So once they get that email from us, they will be able to select a check-in appointment time. Go ahead and start helping your students pack. We are officially less than a month away from move-in. Very exciting for us. That is our biggest event of the year, and I really, really look forward to it. A list of what to bring and what not to bring will be emailed to you, or emailed to them rather. Once they've confirmed their check-in appointment time, you can also find that list on our FAQ page on the website. And finally, for preparing for the actual move-in day, again, all the details are sent to the student's Patriot email. So if your student's like, I don't know anything about move-in, they do, I promise. We've already sent the first outreach for most of our first-time freshmen. Some of you, again, with early arrivals or got assigned a little bit later in the summer, you have not received this just yet, but majority of our folks have. But just a couple of things for you as family members and those potentially coming to help. There will be volunteers to help you move your student in and their belongings in. We really encourage you to hydrate. It will be hot. It's the end of August in Texas. If you have not experienced that yet, it is quite a feat and something you can put on your own resume. We will be providing water and other refreshments, but we do recommend that you have your own just to, again, be safe. And students will need to make sure that they get their student ID prior to move in. So their student ID is what actually allows them to access their spaces once they've gone through our check-in process. So it's really important for them to have their student ID prior to move-in and prior to their checkout or check-in time. It will make the process a lot easier, a lot smoother for you, a lot less standing outside. Perfect. And as I mentioned, our Patriots Welcome is just our big move-in day on Thursday, August 21st. It's something we do every year, and we really just like to celebrate the students that are coming in and living with us. Um, for students, or I'm sorry, for parents and family members, or even friends, y'all will be involved from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. With those 30-minute check-in appointments. And that is at the Patriot Plaza, which is in the heart of campus, right by the University Center. From 7 to 9 p.m., something I really encourage you to encourage your students to go to is a students exclusive welcome event at the Ornelas Hall lawn. There will be tons of free UT Tyler merchandise, a lot of different snacks and drinks, a lot of activities, something similar to what you see on the screen in the picture right now. So a lot of fun stuff happens that day. So we really encourage them to come on out once y'all have left and really have a good time with us. Awesome. And that is the end of my time. I try not to yap too long. I've been notorious to do so. But this is our last page and just our contact information. Thank you again, and we really look forward to seeing you and your students soon. Please don't hesitate to reach out with questions. Our phone number is there. Our website is there. We do have 2 email addresses. Sometimes that can make it a little confusing. If you reach anyone at either one, we will contact you, I promise. But for housing assignments and administrative things like billing or questions about anything you can think of, housing is really the option for that. For residence life, it's actually, I see a typo here. It is res life, RES life at uttyler.edu. If you have questions about move-in, about the sizing of the spaces, about what to bring with you, go ahead and email us at reslife@uttyler.edu. Perfect. And that is all we've got for you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. So at this time, if there's any additional questions that y'all might have, now is a chance to put them in the Q&A. I'll kind of read over a couple that have been asked, just in case you might have missed them or somebody asked the same question as you and you just wanted to maybe ask for a little bit more of an elaborated answer. So a couple of the things that were asked was talking about the move-in slot, which McKenna touched on for the early move-in. So like example, Greek recruitment, those that starts a week before the normal move-in time. But all of those will be emailed a link, hopefully this week or very shortly. Everyone should be getting the link to be able to start figuring out when they're going to move in. The parking pass, so if you're living at Liberty Landing, they receive a resident parking permit. That housing facility is located across the street, so they have a dedicated crosswalk for students so that they are not able to park on campus between Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but they're available to park on campus at any other time outside of that. That does apply to everybody, like after 5 p.m. they are not necessarily monitoring for parking permits at that time, so anybody who would like to park on campus can park after 5 p.m. as well as on the weekends. There was a question about textbooks or knowing what class needs what kind of book. The textbooks are uploaded into the system by their professors once the professors have decided on their textbooks. Right now it's the end of July. They're still kind of on summer break, so they might not have it uploaded just yet, but they will very shortly, hopefully by August. And at that time, the bookstore will be able to provide all of the needed information that they might have. Professors also send out a syllabus that has all of that additional information as well, and the textbooks are provided there. And then we also do on-campus price matching for any other retailer stores that might have a different price. We're able to price match that as well. Andrew, did you have something about textbooks?
Did have something to add. I want to let everybody know that in addition to all the tutorials that we have in that tutorial library, we will soon be putting a tutorial on how to navigate the textbook search functions and match ISBN numbers and things like that. So you could also follow along that way and get your textbooks that way. I'd also kind of say as a pro tip to parents, I found a lot of success and heard a lot of people really like waiting to the first day of class to get confirmation that the professors are actually going to use the textbooks that's in the syllabus. or that the professor sometimes prints off those textbooks and brings them for free. And then also we have some of those textbooks are offered in the library here on campus. The library likes to buy as many of the textbooks as they can each semester and then maintain copies of those for students so that those could be a free copy as well. So often it is really advantageous to either buy the textbooks in advance, don't unwrap them, don't open them, and then after the first day of class, determine whether or not you need it, and then you can return it if you need to, or then you can finally take the wrapping off.
Yes, that is a great tip. Most time, faculty are required to put a textbook on there, but they might not necessarily use it all the time. So it is always recommended to wait until they have the class and they can hear from their faculty members. Another question was asking about dining dollars or Patriot Bucks, and if they get a discount or if they can just use their debit or credit cards to pay for things. You are able to use a debit or credit card to pay for any of the retail options. When purchasing meal plans with dining dollars, tax is not charged as it is paid when the plan is purchased. So when you go to Starbucks to get a drink, that's $3.25. If you're using dining dollars, that's all you pay. But if you're using a debit card or a credit card, it will be the $3.25 plus whatever the regular sales tax would be. Sometimes Dining or Sodexo provides a promotion where if you purchase a certain amount of dining dollars, you'll get it at a discounted rate. They'll always announce those or post them on their website or on their social media accounts as well. You can also keep up with your swipes of how many meal swipes that you have left through their Transact e-accounts app. Students can download that, and that's how they'll be able to have their like mobile credentials and all that stuff on their phone. And yeah, that seems like that's about all the questions that we've had right now. If there's any additional questions that you might have, feel free to drop them in the chat now. If you don't have any additional questions, thank y'all for joining us tonight. If there's additional questions later on that you might have, feel free to just send an email to parents@uttyler.edu. And I will either be able to answer that or I will send it to the correct person that will be able to get you an answer. Either way, we're here to help y'all. We'll be sending out a survey as well after this towards the end of the summer. So feel free to fill out that survey just to let us know how you enjoyed the webinars, if you'd like to see more of them, if there's any other suggestions that you might have. But we'll wrap that up here. If there's no other questions, I hope that y'all have a great rest of your night. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. I know it's getting later on a Tuesday evening, but we really appreciate it. So have a great evening and a great rest of y'all summer.